with motivation and inspiration, out of which we start with a new thing to learn today with our business team of the And we start off with the business quote here, which says that what is not started will never get finished. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe with this one, that what is not started will never get finished. So unless you start something, it can never be finished. It has to first get started, then it gets finished. So you can't finish what you haven't started. So if you have a dream that you've not conquered, then it's not finished or it's not over yet. Unless you've started it, that is when you know it is over. Before we limit ourselves to the potentials that we can definitely come to reality with, let us first conquer them and then be able to realize our potentials or what we can't do. Maybe then we can know where we fit in this world. So the tip is basically saying what is not started is not something that we can look at and say it never happened. So you have to start it before you say it finished. Before it gets finished, start it and move on with it. So that's exactly what the quote is saying this morning. Now let's get our business tip of the morning. Now, the business tip says that every time you step what you want or believe, you're the first to hear it. It's a message to both you and others about what you think is possible. Don't put a ceiling on yourself. That every time you step what you want or believe, you're the first to hear it. And it's a message to both you and others about what you think is possible. So don't ever pull a ceiling on yourself. That is exactly what the business tip is saying, that every time you're stating what you can do, is an inner voice trying to communicate to you that, well, you know what, this is something that you will be able to do, and it's something that you can do amicably well. And now just 24 hours back, a day ago, or I would say 2 days back, Uganda officially launched the drilling of oil in Chikube district, Kingfisher. And this has actually been one of the key highlights on social media. What position does this leave Uganda in the oil and gas sector? And of course, tracing into Uganda's oil and gas sector journey, where are the opportunities coming up? Where are the hopes in here? And of course, with that same kind of situation, if I'm to briefly give you some of the key aspects of these two issues dealing with the oil and gas sector, the drilling, of course, speaking of the drilling in Chikube district, at the end of the day, you get to realize that Uganda as a country is looking forward to 2025. And this is coming up after the fact that the Kingfisher fields were officially, the drilling at the Kingfisher field was officially opened up or kick-started. It was a historical day as the first oil drilling in Uganda started, and that was officially commissioned by President Yoweri Museveni. And this Kingfisher oil field was formerly known as the exploration area, and it's actually part of the Kingfisher field development area that straddles Kube and Hoima district. So when you look at that, this is where the Ugandan, one of the two oil and gas projects that we do have in Uganda are basically, rotating around. And the social media trends that we have this morning are basically looking at the oil drilling and that Kingfisher commissioning by President Yoweri Museveni on Tuesday this week. Let's have more of that from the social media trends. And we start off with the main man, the president of Uganda, Yoweri K. Museveni, at Kaguta Museveni on Twitter, saying officially launched the oil drilling activities at the Kingfisher development area in Chikube district that involved commissioning of the Kingfisher drilling rig for all 31 oil wells, including the deepest well, which is over 7 kilometers in depth. That is what the president had to tweet on his Twitter handle. And Total Energies Uganda, one of the key stakeholders in Uganda's oil and gas sector, with Total Energies UG, with a tweet that His Excellency President Kaguta Museveni has officially commissioned the commencement of oil drilling at Kingfisher. President Kaguta Museveni quoted that, "I would like to congratulate everyone for doing their part to see to it that we are here now." Hashtag Kingfisher drilling launch, with a tweet from Total Energies. Now, Smart 24 TV, Smart 24 Television at Smart 24 TV, with a tweet that Rothnam Kabira, the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, performed the handover of the license to construct the East African Community Pipeline Project, the hashtag ECOP, at the Kingfisher oil fields in the districts of Bukuka, Changwali, and Chikube. Hashtag driving business, hashtag Smart 24 TV. And the Uganda National Oil Company on its Twitter handle at UNOC_UG, following the hashtag Kingfisher drilling launch, here are some key facts. A short thread. The Kingfisher oil field is about 15 kilometers long and 3 kilometers wide, and the oil field is estimated to have a total of 560 million barrels of oil in place, with the hashtag Road to 2025. Now we're slowly going to scroll down for you to at least see that simple thread that was highlighted by the Uganda National Oil Company, that is at UNOC_UG. Now, of this 190 million barrels of oil, which is equivalent to 33%, is expected to be produced over a period of 20 to 25 years. Now that's where we are currently. The oil field is expected to have a maximum production of 40,000 barrels of oil per day for 5 years, after which production will begin to decline. Hashtag Road to 2025. That is according to what UNOC is highlighting in that particular thread on Twitter. And then following up more, when production declines, production will move to 3 other oil fields, which include Waranga, Kuta, and Nzinzi in the Kaiso-Tonya area, which is about 40 kilometers north of Kingfisher. Now, production from these particular 3 oil fields will enable maintaining production at the Kingfisher project. Hashtag Road to 2025. And of course, they did tag Peter Mlisa, who is the head legal and corporate at the Uganda National Oil Company. And then, furthermore, investment in development of the Kingfisher oil field is expected to cost over $2 billion over the next 3 years, until shortly after production starts about 2025, and over $1.5 billion over the remaining 20 years of the life of the oil field. So you can see what the investment in Uganda's oil and gas sector. Still the hashtag there with UNOC_UG is Road to 2025. And then lastly, UNOC with that same thread that $346 million was invested in the Kingfisher project in 2022. Now that's a huge amount of money, bringing the total cumulative investment in the project to $1.07 billion at the end of 2022. Now that is about, if we are to look at this, that's about $580 million, which is expected to be invested in the Kingfisher development, in that Kingfisher project in 2023. And there's also a similar amount that is expected, that is around $580 million in 2024. And the source of that kind of information from the UNOC_UG is the Petroleum Authority of Uganda, with the Twitter handle POW_Uganda. All right, and well, as you can definitely see more of the situation that there are lots of high expectations for Uganda's oil, as currencies in accordance with the Petroleum Act and International Petroleum Best Practices. There was a report that was submitted in 2012 November and rigorously reviewed, leading to lifting of conditions on September 10th in 2013. And furthermore, the Ministry of Energy, technocrats and SINOC Uganda officials led by the then Vice President Vin Wangan filled in the Ministries of Energy's boardroom to at least celebrate and announce issues of the Kingfisher oil production license. Now there is a drilling. So the story about Uganda's oil is a beautiful one and sweet music to the ears that you would definitely want to follow up more as we continue to stroll to 2025, when Uganda will anticipate its first drop of oil. Besides that, let's get more business updates this morning. And this time on, we look at the Kampala City Council's roads rehabilitation project report. Remember, 2023 February, which is coming up next week, is when Kampala City Council Authority does look forward to ensure that they maintain and rehabilitate a number of roads in the capital and the capital suburbs. Well, there's according to the report, there's some insufficient issues to do with the drainage capacity, and there's a load of traffic on roads which ends up spoiling these roads, according to what KCC is highlighting in this particular rehabilitation project report, and why they want to at least, because they clearly want to give us a report regarding the fact that why do we have these potholes, and why is it that these holes, rather that these roads never stay for a test of good time. And then also the project is set to support entrepreneurship skills to the people. Now we have this particular update, and in it we have Hajat Misa Kabanda, the Minister for Kampala City Council Authority and Metropolitan Affairs. Good morning.
Right Honourable Speaker and Members of Parliament, we are aware that the current area of concern in respect to service delivery is due to poor roads, due to an aged road network, flooding due to insufficient drainage capacity, traffic congestion due to inadequate capacity of intersections, inadequate public transport, and low kilometers of paved roads. Damage of new road infrastructure due to frequent cuttings for utilities. Right Honourable Speaker and Members of Parliament, the current inventory indicates that the total road infrastructure network within the administrative boundaries of Kampala City comprises of 2,110 kilometers of roads, of which to date 646 kilometers, that is 31%, are paved, and 1,487, a total of 70%, are unpaved. However, a number of interventions to address the gaps include the Kampala City Road, the Kampala City Roads Rehabilitation Project as part of a citywide infrastructure improvement program that seeks to meet the government's long-term development strategy as outlined in Uganda's Vision 2040. This aims at increasing and improving the quality of infrastructure to foster transformation of the Uganda's economy from low income to a more competitive upper middle income status. This project is aimed at addressing congestion in the city of Kampala through improvement of road networks, upgrading of traffic junctions, and enhanced drainage capacity to mitigate flooding of the streets. Right Honourable Speaker and Members of Parliament, as you may be, Parliament of Uganda passed the law in 2020, having considered the economic benefits to the city. The funding covered 29 roads and other roads infrastructure. That is 7,970 kilometers of roads. Some of the road section will be dual carriageways, thus increasing the length of 83.7 kilometers, complete with associated drainage works, 22 traffic junctions, 123 kilometers of non-motorized transport facilities, commercial vehicles, parking places, bus depots, 30 public toilets, 6 markets along project roads for women vendors, installation of 1,600 energy efficient street lights, and tree planting. Right Honourable Speaker and members, in May 2021, the Minister of Finance signed off the financing agreement with an estimated cost of US dollars 288 million to be financed by the bank group ADB 77.8% and ADF 17.7%, Global Environment Fund, DEF 0.07%, and Government of Uganda 3.8%. The project has other complementary initiatives which include women and youth skills on entrepreneurship development, institutional support to boost project execution capacity. Right Honourable Speaker, in 2021, the project was reviewed to estimate the eco buses and instead add an additional stock of roads. A total of $12 million that had been earmarked for the provision of eco buses was converted to construction of additional roads that serve the city, which include Mperere, Kitezi, Chiti Road, Ntinda to Kampala, Northern Bypass, and Old Killer Road, effectively increasing the total length by 16.37 kilometers. KCCA got clearance for the project from the Attorney General's chambers in July 2022. Parliament, KCCA has now signed contracts with the qualifying service contractors, and the project is expected to commence in the month of February 2023. I therefore beg to lay the report on status of roads at Kampala City Roads Rehabilitation Project. Thank you so much.
Looking forward to at least have rehabilitated roads coming up this very year. And some of the routes that are actually going to be worked upon in February include those around industrial area. There are roads connecting to Namuongo. There are roads around Makindye. Well, of course, I do believe we've all had our own perspective about what is happening. For the people in Chitezi, you'll have to wait a little bit longer till maybe hopefully September to be worked upon. But of course, the plan is still there with Kampala City Council Authority to maintain these particular roads and to try as much as possible to at least give room for the rehabilitation of the same. And clearly, Hajjat Hamisa Kabanda was actually giving in a report before the parliamentary or the plenary session. And basically, there's in this report that she was giving out, it was the Roads Rehabilitation Project report, which in turn showed that 7,000 kilometers of roads are in need of being rehabilitated. So this is what Kampala City Council Authority is working forward and looking forward to making sure that they work upon. The project in the long run is set to support entrepreneurship skills to quite a number of people. Don't know how that will be possible though, but it's a viable call and they do believe it would be. Then there is also some of the issue to do with the load of traffic. According to the same report, that the load of traffic on the roads also spoils them, apparently, according to this report. So how true would that be? And of course, I'll be giving you some of the details regarding some of these particular roads and which other roads will be worked upon. It is the 26th of February, of January rather. How fast I did run into Feb. But it is 17 minutes off the hour clock of 8 a.m. What you need to do is use the USSD code *292#. Register your account today. It's a public holiday. You may not be able to invest in government bonds as fast as it is today. But if you do not have an account today, it being a public holiday, register with the platform that is powered by Altex East Africa. Quickly dial *292#. Use your NIM to register. It's going to help you to at least register and invest in government bonds. In just 24 hours tomorrow, you'll be able to invest in these government bonds. If today was not a public holiday, the markets would have been open for you to quickly invest in with just a minimum of 15,000 Ugandan shillings to at least understand and have more of what is coming in from the world of investing at the end of the day. So also on the other round of situation, you get to realize that there is an opportunity for you to invest in these government bonds every day from Monday to Friday. Only that on weekends and public holidays you won't be able to. Zabu, my money, my future, Altex East Africa, do something new. All right, now over 30 city roads and drainage systems by 2023 may be normal, as Kampala City Council Authority does look forward to making sure that they work upon this particular issue. If you're to look at Kampala is in need of infrastructure investments to show up its productivity and at least is doing business. There's a 48-month project which is worth $288 million US. And this loan was as of effective July 2021. So it's 2 years down the road. And if you to look at this, there are lots of roads that are supposed to be worked upon. There's Apollo Kagwa, there's the Old Pertbell Road, 8th Street Namongo, 6th Street as well, Sentema Road, Sapalo Kagwa, Isasi 2 Road, Chitezi, the Old Portbell Road, Kabalagala Junction, the Masiro, then there's the Queensway, among others. So there's Motesa 1 Road. When you look at some of these roads, I do believe if you are a Ugandan, you've been able to use some of them, whether you are a border rider or whether you are using what we could call maybe a personal car. I think you've been able to at least get interrupted by these potholes in one way or the other. And at the end of the day, we've seen people sharing their feedback on social media or on different media platforms, trying to at least air out their plea to the city authorities on the state of the roads. Because these affect businesses in a way that we all understand, because sometimes you get to realize that the traffic jam sometimes is actually, or the traffic congestion is halted or brought about by these particular roads being in poor state. Then it's because people are trying to to try to beat these potholes. Others are trying to channel out various routes, and at the end of the day, making it even very difficult for the traffic officers to at least maintain the traffic flow within the country. And of course, at the start of the week, at the start of the year, we got to realize that Kampala City Council Authority secured 1 trillion shillings for city roads, and they want to make sure that at least by the end of March, quite a number of those roads have been rehabilitated, and then by the end of the year, over 30 of those would be done, according to the reports coming in, because at least with 1 trillion, they want to rehabilitate, maintain, and at least cover up the potholes. And of course, the exercise has already kicked off in most parts of Kampala and the neighboring areas to the capital, or the routes that actually connect to the capital city here in Uganda. And we shall be giving you more of those particular details, as it does look like it's definitely going to be a pull over or for something that people need to at least get to understand. So it is as fast as you can get it, but then also as we're getting into a break this time, you get to realize that we're getting a response from the Speaker and the Leader of Opposition on this same report that was revealed by Ajad Mesa Kabanda on the project of rehabilitating the city roads in Kampala. Let's just get this one, and I'll be right back.
You report back quickly on this matter. Members are mainly interested in the cost. I don't know about Chivumbi asking the unit cost. And we also want you to be clear. Unit cost per kilometer is what we consider. Because we've ever had a situation where a road of 4 lanes was expected to be costing the same as a road of 2 lanes. So it has to be unit road per kilometer per lane. Okay? For more details to come out properly.
Right, Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the Minister for her brief statement. And I want to thank you for your guidance, Right, Honorable Speaker. Right, Honorable Speaker, my cabinet this week considered a petition of the Lord Mayor relating to a related subject. May it please you that on Tuesday it is formally presented, that it is considered alongside the Minister's statement, that we do not consume it of the House's time, Right Honourable Speaker, that I put the House on a notice that on Tuesday it is late, the petition is...
I'll give you space on Tuesday, but though Rope, if you had it ready, I would even allow you today, because the committee is already processing, you know, so that they go together to the committee. I can amend the order paper and I allow you to lay it so that they are processed together. Please do.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for the flexibility. Right Honourable Speaker, you know, we missed the orientation and the member is asking whether the petition is uploaded. I beg to lay for the House consideration a petition of the Lord Mayor of Kampala relating to matters of maladministration and inflation of costs in Kampala State Council Authority, Honourable Speaker, for the consideration of the House.
Thank you. The petition is referred to the Committee on Physical Infrastructure. Of course, this should be under KCCA, but because the Committee on Physical Infrastructure is already handling the matter, you know, I don't know. Yes, I know they can. I don't know how physical infrastructure now focused on KCCA roads. It should have been KCCA Committee on Presidential Affairs. So,
Of course, that is the response of that particular issue of the current situation of the city roads in Kampala. But what you should as well know that we have over 500 potholes that have actually made it worse for the road users in Kampala. But with the fact that KCCA did at least secure over 1 trillion Ugandan shillings for the city roads to make sure that they work on the maintenance, we shall wait and see how that will be possible and how everything will be executed. After the break, we shall be back with sports business here on Smart 24 and more to do with entertainment business with Veridia Andrew. So stick around.